The first not the first influencer. The first fitness influencer. Your favorite fitness influencer's favorite influencer. Before the Sam Suliks or the Alex Eubanks or Gymshark or really social media in general, there was a lost kid that didn't know his place in this world.
But that was the thing, right? Like I didn't know that things were gonna like be this thing that we could all like literally make businesses from. I didn't
know how important he would be to so many young men.
Ended up being sort of like one of the leaders from early on and sort of like breaking that open to the internet.
Like before we get into this, I just want to say like it's really cool to meet you in person. I've been watching you since like 8th grade, since middle school.
That's fucking crazy.
No, deadass. I used to you inspired me to go to the gym, like to first get into the gym. Like genuinely want to say thank you.
I appreciate it.
Didn't know he would collab with just about every influencer on the internet. Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, Danny Duncan, FouseyTube, Summer Rae, the Tate Brothers, you name it. Bradley Martyn. Though an internet icon nowadays, his life has not always been this way. Very open about his struggles with anxiety, depression, and just in life in general. So much so, he's actually been hospitalized twice for anxiety attacks. Born May 22nd, 1989.
I'm from San Francisco, but I'm from more specifically, a small town just outside of San Francisco called Pacifica, which is like a beach town.
Okay.
He grew up with an older brother. His mother was a teacher.
Super close to my mom. I have a brother. I have a stepsister. Not super close to my brother. Should be closer. He's very different than I am, but similar in some ways.
How so? What's he like?
He's kind of... You'll probably see this too, so I love you, Andrew, just so you know.
No games?
Yeah, he's a hippie.
Oh, okay.
Lives in a van, stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I went to all-boys high school. I grew up without a father. I think that's something significant. And
Brad's background gets dark pretty quick as his father took his own life when Brad was only 6 years old.
Initially, it was kind of like, your father's not coming back. And then she kind of told us. And then the thing I'll tell you, and I just learned this recently because I think maybe 2 months ago, my mom came to visit and I didn't know this at all. Because my dad had dealt with like drug issues and stuff. But when he took his life, he was completely sober.
Really?
And he's also dealt with depression, like severe depression. And I know he's gone through like a lot of things that I deal with sometimes in my life now, depression, anxiety. I guess
he would fall deep into all sorts of bad crowds and go in many different directions.
Really incriminating shit. Like just imagine, I'll just say this. Bat, ski mask.
Dude!
Yes,
no
bro.
fucking chance.
Yes.
You're not about that life, bro. And you definitely weren't back then.
It wasn't just me. That's the thing. It wasn't just me. It was my surroundings. And I was just in it like this is something that they're doing. I'm doing it too.
Did your parents ever drug test you?
No.
For marijuana?
No. I wasn't a smoker.
Really?
Not at all. Yeah,
I
would drink
that
alcohol.
Shit way too early. That's what fucked me
I got
up.
fucking, one time I was I was sitting in front of a library. I must have been like fucking 12 years old with a fifth of E&J. Do you know what that is? It's alcohol. It's a liquor. And I'm drinking this and the cops pull up and they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
And what happened? You got MIP?
No, so my stepdad was a police officer, which always helped me. So then they would ask me like,
Bradley Martyn's above the law.
I was not above the law. No, not above the law. I was getting in fucking trouble, but they would always give that chance to the stepdad and be like, yo, do you know about this fucking kid? And I was like, he'd be like, fuck. And then I'd have to
How many get out of jail free cards did you get?
That's a good question, man. Speeding, probably twice. Speeding really bad. Like 16 years old, speeding like I could have fucking killed myself and a bunch of people type shit. I got out of that twice. Like 100, like felony type speeding. I got pulled over twice. And I remember the guy told me the first time, he was like, you know, I told him about my stepdad and everything. Because it was in the same city that he actually worked as a police officer. And he's like, yo, if you do this again, like I'm not helping you out.
This left Brad rather lost as a person, to say the least.
I have a very strong feeling for this. So during this time, right, you start hearing about all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, what is the one thing? Motherfucker. Oh shit, my bad. The one thing that like genuinely fucking bitch changed my life and allowed me to fucking not be dead. Oh shit. Fuck. And that was the gym. Okay? And not just because of the gym itself, but because the people that I met in the gym, the conversations that I had in the gym, the relationships that I built in the gym, the father figures that I met in the gym that I was seeking my whole life.
I don't think it's even close to a stretch to say that the gym saved Brad's life. It was the people that he met in the gym, the father figures, the influence, the much needed correction on the dark path that he was heading really made all the difference for a young Bradley Martyn.
I was able to take my focus away from the things that made me upset or mad or angry, and I was able to just like, and the idea of loss, right? I was able to like, okay, let me not worry about that for an hour. And I noticed I was able to figure that out through weightlifting. Like, because I played sports at first, but I got into weightlifting so much more, and I was like, wow, I really like the way this feels. Because when you're benching, that's all I'm thinking about. It's, you know, and the weight's
You're in a
heavy.
flow state.
Yeah, and I'm not thinking about, you know, homework, my dad, unless it's like an upset anger, and it's helping me push forward. But it helps like let go of the things that my brain is just kind of going nonstop, and I'm able to just like, okay, if I don't think about lifting this weight, it's gonna crush me. So it allowed me to be in like to find a place where I was just able to be more focused on one thing instead of worrying about a bunch of other shit in my life that I was worrying about.
He would fall very deeply into gaming and just escaping on the internet. This was the internet and gaming in the early 2000s. He would read all sorts of internet articles and early Twitter about how e-commerce was going to be the future and social media was going to take over the world.
And I don't know why I was like fucking 16 years old reading about like Twitter, and Twitter is going to change the way people do business, and social media, this new thing that's coming out is going to change the way people do stuff. And I remember wondering, like, they're talking about people making money on social media, and I'm like, how are people making money? Like, who is doing this? Like, who's who that's making money? Who is able to do this on the internet? And so I'm reading articles, and it's just vague, right? But it's a lot of speculation about how social media is going to change the world, which now we obviously know that it has, and it's obviously changed my world. But the reason why I was always on the computer reading articles was because I was on the computer at the same time playing video games, okay? I'm talking about StarCraft, okay? I'm talking about Warcraft, every single one. StarCraft, every single one, right? Back in the day when people played it on dial-up, and I used to watch my older friends play it, and then when I could play, I was playing it. I was the king of that shit, so if any of you guys know how to play it, I will destroy you.
And at this time, his only ambitions were going to the gym and playing video games. And so he was dead set on figuring out how he could just spend his days playing video games and going to the gym. This led him to finding out about a new website and app coming out called Instagram.
I worked at Quiznos.
Quiznos.
Yeah.
Were you still were you swole?
No, I was skinny as fuck. I was skinny. I was like you.
Fuck, I can imagine like a swole ass Bradley working at Quiznos making
I was
a
skinny.
fucking sandwich, like just massive.
No, dude, but I kind of quit from Quiznos because like I wanted to make bigger sandwiches, but the lady was always mad. So you can only make this little sandwich, like the ones you get.
You
for
trying
free.
to hook the folk up that come through. You trying to hook them
Yeah,
up.
myself though. I was trying to get the bigger. Anyways, long story short, I was so interested in video games and being at home that I was like, yo, if I could figure out a way to make money on the internet, that'd be amazing because then I could play video games. So my idea of this, it spawned from a place that was pretty selfish and pretty introverted, where I was like, I just want to like be able to figure out a way to make money on the internet. So long story short, I had always been ahead of the curve as far as like downloading these apps, and they were talking about Instagram was going to come out, and I was like, oh, this is because I was on Twitter, and I was like, I don't know how to fucking use this shit. It was like before Twitter looks like it is now. Back in the day, it was just like this ugly ass notepad looking website where it looked like a notepad. Like if you could imagine what your notes look like before they updated iOS 1,000 times, it was like it looked like an actual notepad where you typed, and like it was just, they were talking about people were making money in the fitness industry, and I was like, I was always interested in working out. Instagram comes, and I'm thinking like, oh, this sounds like it's it. And so I'm downloading this app. It's only on the iPhone. I'm telling all these people to fucking follow me. Like, cause at this time I'm working at the gym. This is in like late 2011. And I'm working in a 24-hour fitness. And I'm like telling these people to follow me.
Who, just anybody you see?
Anyone, people that I work out with. Like not just anyone random, but I was a trainer. So at this time, just fast forward years now in 2011. And I'm telling my buddies like, yeah, this is going to be it. Like, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Cause at the time people were just using that app. Like, I was so like, damn, I want to figure out how to do this thing on the internet, because again, it spawned from the idea of I want to be able to like play video games straight up and just be like in my house.
He began using this as a portfolio for his personal training, while at the same time becoming one of the very first Instagram fitness influencers. He opened up one of the very first online courses in 2008 called BM Fit. He would start gaining followers by networking with people in the gym, playing the Instagram game, whatever Instagram game there really was at the time, just trying to get attention.
The beginning, I was one of the first people to sell this thing that everyone calls now is very readily available and known as online coaching in the fitness space. And people make, I'm sure that lane is probably like everyone's making tons of money doing this now. So I remember doing this, and all the other, I remember I was like the first person with like 10,000 followers on Instagram. And I swear to God, I remember this because I remember going to a fitness like convention. 10,000 is crazy, right?
Yo, I know, 'cause
I'm like going to a fitness show because I was competing around the time. And I literally remember walking past someone in Culver City Auditorium here in LA, and I was going to do the show. And I'm walking past, like, I must have my tan on and everything. And I'm walking past.
And they said, is that Bradley?
No, not even that.
Is
not even
that Bradley fucking Martyn?
No,
Are you fucking kidding me, bro?
Nah.
Are you fucking?
No, they were like, I wasn't even, my name wasn't cool then, but they said, that's the guy with 10,000 followers.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, yo, you know what it is? I was like, you know what it is?
10K me.
I was like, get me, because I had the K. So
K was serious.
So anyways, like that was my life, and I was like thinking, oh, this was cool. And then I started to grow more. And I think around like 300,000, I started selling this online coaching thing.
He would go to shows and compete, actually winning a show.
Bradley Martyn, who just won the overall men's physique in a huge class. It's the biggest physique class we've had this year so far.
When Instagram released videos, this became a massive step for Brad.
Like, okay, people like, I knew this based on just like posting. They were like, oh, this guy's like, he's got good abs. And then as soon as he did videos, I remember videos came out and I was like strong. So they were like
fucking strong.
Yeah. So they were like, this guy like looks good and he's strong. I was like, okay, they like that. So I kept just showing more of it, because I would see the response, right? And then it started to grow. And then I'm watching Pump and Iron one time. This is a true ass story. This is how I was like, okay, I got it. I'm watching Pump and Iron. This is when right around the first time video comes out. I've seen Pump and Iron prior to this, but I was watching it again just because I liked the movie. So I'm watching it. Video had just come out on Instagram. And I'm watching it. And I remember there's a scene where Arnold he has that thing, you know, he goes like this with that thing. And he has a girl on his shoulder and there was a girl at his feet. And it's like a quick bit where like he's going like this and a girl's up here and the girl's down here on his feet and he's like doing a shoot for like this product, right? And I was watching it and I was like, girls. I am gonna involve girls. It's gonna work. And then like lifting them. And that's when I came with the idea and I was like, this is it. This is what's gonna, and then like it fucking blew the fuck up.
100%. Yeah.
That's when it got different for me. Obviously I jumped out of the pool, that went viral, but then as soon as I started involving girls, just the visual of it. And it's like, this is not normal to see this. And now it's like every motherfucker on the internet lifts girls or they're lifting some crazy shit.
This, combined with other feats of strength and athleticism, let Brad skyrocket to be one of the most followed Instagram accounts at the time. And this is where the story begins to get really insane. At this time, Brad was still a full-time personal trainer, selling online courses and meeting with people in person. One day he got a client that wanted to get in shape for a movie role. This man's name, Tyler Perry.
I guess before you have stuff and before you create any sort of name for yourself at any scale, people don't typically believe in you.
Yeah.
You were a person that you came into my life at a time, and this was prior to social media, any kind of blow up, and I was a trainer. I had met you at a gym. I had trained you for a little bit. This was towards like the end of my career as a trainer. And I remember I asked you something really significant because you became a friend to me.
Yeah.
And I remember I asked you, why me? Why did I get this this gift in a sense of having like a friend and a person who's like absolutely carved a path in an industry?
The Tyler Perry. This was massive for Brad's career and probably the only reason Brad is still with us today.
The reason why I'm so emotional is because this changed my life.
Yeah.
You told me to write down almost like a letter to my 6-year-old self. In relationship to my father taking his life, hanging himself, and how it affected me as from my perspective as an older man to a 6-year-old, and like kind of telling my younger self, hey, this is what happened. This is why, you know, like, this is why you'll be okay. This is why, this is like what I know now. And that's the thing that I think is so significant, man, like and we kind of keep talking about it, but people get so caught up in where they're at and in the moment of like the negative and the darkness and the evil, and they don't see the light.
Yeah.
They don't believe that there's anything. And I remember when you told me to do this, how much
how much weight it took off me, because I was able to look kind of back at a situation that my perspective then was so different than my perspective now. And I was able to look back from an older state and understand that it wasn't as simple as what I thought it was then, which was my father didn't love me.
Yeah.
And I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And I was so caught up in trying to be like strong and for my family, for my mom, for myself, that like I built up so many walls in who I was. And it's crazy looking back now how much it affected even my personal relationships, my intimate relationships, my relationships with my family, friends, everything. Because I was so like, I tried to be so strong. And I looking back now, it's like I didn't have to be, because like it didn't make sense for me to determine my life based on, you know, a decision, an outward, like I keep talking about this, an external decision that my father made based on everything that happened in his life and who he was at that moment, at that point. Like as a 6-year-old, I could never understand that, because I was 6. I'm just understanding life. Everything prior to that moment is like, you know, oh, I hurt my knee, the scab's up, I'm healed. Or I spilt this, oh, it's cleaned up, it's fixed. And then being confronted with the idea of death and knowing that like, oh, like that, what does that mean? What is death? What's the point of this? My father's never coming back. What does that even mean? Like that doesn't make sense. I'll see him tomorrow, waking up and he's not there, waking up and he's not there. Yeah. And you taught me this, and it was one of the things that I wanted to say before this ended, because I want people to understand that this changed my life. This writing this and giving myself that perspective, like back to my 6-year-old self with the newly found information that I have, going to that point that I went to, and I was in my mid-20s. And I just want people to understand that first and foremost, like we keep talking about, is that everything, we said this earlier, everything that we go through, every hardship, every downfall is going to be a new opportunity to learn and to grow and to become better and to go closer to where.
This gained Brad so much more than I can even describe. It gave him direction, dreams, goals. It started to build him connections. He would get Brad a role in one of his movies alongside a couple of different YouTubers, one namely FouseyTube. This is when everything started to happen for Brad. Brad and FouseyTube would start to get close, and one day he would ask Brad to get him in shape for a transformation video.
It's interesting. I did a podcast with him the other day, but Youssef, FouseyTube. He was the first person that I saw. I want to get into YouTube.
And he was killing it at that time, especially.
Yeah, he was fatter though. So I was like,
I remember his weight loss transformation has so many fucking views. I watched that shit.
So he was bigger, and I remember I saw him. And I was like, yo, I want to get into YouTube. He's like, I want to get in shape. He saw me. He's like, yeah, help me out. So I helped him do that, and he helped me like get on YouTube basically. I think he helped me get like 25,000 subscribers like on a channel with no videos.
Really?
Yeah.
Brad got Fousey to drop 50 pounds in only 90 days. This is when Brad started to carve out his own lane. You see, on YouTube, the only real fitness content was just, as soon as the video starts, it's this is how you do the workout, boom, 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 give it a couple of examples, and then that's the video. No personality, no real heart to it. And this is where Brad came. Not only would he give you tips and tricks on how to improve your workout and get in better shape, but he would also treat it like a daily vlog. He would get personal. He would get close with his fans in a way that no one else in the fitness community was doing at the time. He was much closer to just your gym bro that you're hanging out with and getting fit than a tutorial video. This became Brad's entire brand, dropping his own clothing line, and eventually Brad opened up his own gym, the only thing he had ever dreamed of in his whole life.
But this way, I spent more than $300,000 on it.
Damn.
On the equipment.
That's awesome.
So, but it was something that is like I said over there, this is everything I've ever loved.
Just 3 years ago, he opened up his second gym, and now he has even bigger dreams than anybody could ever imagine.
I would love to have zoo cultures, which I'm working on, in like all the major cities.
Oh, that'd be dope.
I would wish that'd be like bang, and then have these dope hubs to like, you know, meet and interact with people and make content.
Brad is a shining example of what having faith in yourself and standing for what you know can really take you so far in the world. Such a massive inspiration to me, to be honest. A lot of aspects of what Brad is as a person, I hope to acquire some of these attributes to myself. I feel like all too often people are afraid to really be open and honest about their goals or who inspires them or what they hope to be, and their future, and being true to the people that you love and that love you.
Thing is now, like the position that I'm in, the position that you're in, you now have, you know, these platforms that you can jump on and speak and share this kind of shit to people who, for what it's worth, like need that. Because I think, you know, obviously everyone has to make their own mistakes and they have to learn their life the way they have to learn it. But there is a lot of value when you could see where someone went through and what they went through, and then like what they really learned from it. And we keep taking that same takeaway about like what really matters is like the moments you share with people. 100%. What do you share? What do you give? How do you share love? And like, it's so interesting, like that concept that you have of, damn, I wish I could have just showed my dad or had these sort of moments with him, but you were so caught up in like, you know, I guess the business side of it or the issues of your life and never really got to that point with it. But now it's
you
like,
just always think that you have more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just always like, we're going to have it. We're going to have it. And like, I'm a big believer in like manifestation, and like it starts in the mind and stops in the mind, and like you see it, want it, believe it, naturally move toward it. I think that's a huge part of like success and accomplishing. And like I always just like had that, like he's gonna get it, you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna get it. I know I'm gonna get it. But then it happens, you know, not necessarily the way that you planned, and you don't have as much time as you thought you did. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
God, dude, this is something we got to talk about though. Is age.
Okay.
And time. And I said it earlier, but I want to repeat this again. You watching this podcast, you don't have as much time as you think you do. And I'm not just saying in regards to like people in your life and like spending time with your family. I'm just saying everything. Like everyone thinks they have way more time than they do. And they don't. You fucking don't. So you have to start doing it now. It can't be, when I do this, then I'll do that. When I do this, then, and it, for me, it's kind of weird because like my hypocrisy in that is that I do the same thing just on a different scale with like different things. And that's what I'm trying to like erase from my life. It's just hard with the balance of it all. And so I could understand why someone says, oh, I'll do it on Thursday, and then they never do it. Like even working out.
And Thursday gets pushed to Monday.
And it's just more.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying, like, if you're in your life, especially in like your early 20s, like motherfucker, like block out all the you know is slowing you down and work. Like, you know, like I talk to like, if I talk to like super successful people who are like older, like this called me earlier a billionaire. Those guys aren't like, man, I'm just going to stop now. There's obviously a certain level of having so much, you don't really need more. And then just people get caught up in that. That's a whole different conversation. But most successful people who really have real success, that they technically don't need to work anymore, but for their own mental sort of fortitude, they continue to work, because I think that's a very important thing in longevity. And in fact, I know it is. Like scientifically speaking, it is. If you look at like these sort of blue areas where people live really, really long lives, it's in relationship to community and like purpose. And I think if you don't have something you're working towards, you don't have a purpose because you're like, well, I got the money now. That's just like, okay, now how long until you die? And like the people who live longest are like driven towards something, even if it's something it doesn't have to be some crazy, you just have to be driven to do something.
Yeah.
You know, Mork, I think you're beginning to grow.
Well, sir, I don't know how much value I have in this universe, but I do know that I made a few people happier than they would have been without me. And as long as I know that, I'm as rich as I ever need to be. So I'll catch you on the rebound, your magnitude. Until next week, Nanu, Nanu.